the same spot. They found a sweet spot on this table, Steve, and the balls are really flying in the holes here.
Yes, and there's plenty of countries around the world this game's being played in at the moment, representing their countries over here in Cardiff, running along the bottom of your screens.
Well, once again, we've had a good result from the break. Mika's got a shot on the 2-ball. It's a bit of a dicey cut, but I expect him to make it. There's another look at the break shot from the top. Both the 1 and the 3-ball down on this break, and the 2-ball comes up and almost nestles the cue. Mika's studying this table. He wants to know what he's going to do all the way through the rack before he ever begins.
That was a great shot there from Mika.
Well, he hopes that'll be the most difficult shot of the rack.
He's now got a way of making the 4-ball down the side, coming between the gap between the black 8 and the 9 to get perfect position on that orange 5. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, the coloured balls in the sequence they need to be potted, and it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left on the table. Not always the case, so keep an eye on the bottom of your screen to see the order and the next couple of balls in the sequence.
Well, this is really quite a display. This will be the first time I've seen 4 breaking runs in a row. This is like these boys are on the practice table. Neither one of them seems bothered by the cameras or by their opponent.
And with these very thin cloth and the television lights, it's a lot easier to make a ball from the break. So it just then becomes a case of have they got good shape or position on the lowest available ball. And so far, that's turned out quite nicely for both these lads. No problems as yet, but perhaps there'll be a problem before the end of the match.
Both men with warm arms now. Our match score stands at 2-2. He was going to park that white in the middle of the table, but it got kicked out of position.
And for the first time, Jerry, not exactly a problem, but no position on the blue 2.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he handles this. Here's another look at the break. 1 going in the side pocket again. That's been happening with a little bit of regularity today.
Maybe to get through there, I'm not absolutely sure. Doesn't look like it from that television screen.
Yeah, he played a safe.
Using some left-hand spin, or sorry, right-hand spin there, just to kill the cue ball, leave it as close to that top cushion as possible.
Well, here's the opportunity, Steve, that Mika needed. He's coming to the table. He has a chance to get control of the table here. And he doesn't have to do it by potting a ball. He can play a safety.
Not going to be easy to get a snooker, get a hook from this position.
Well, not unless he can park that white ball behind the 6 or the 7 ball. And that's going to require an awfully deft touch.
He may even play thin towards the pocket. Play thin towards the pocket. I think he played to
the
bank. That's a great shot from Mika.
Well, no room for defense when you're this offensive and aggressive. Here's another look at it. One great bank shot.
There was an element of safety, perhaps the snooker behind the 3, but I don't think he really even considered that. It was more a case of here's a chance to get amongst the balls. No better form of safety play than attack.
Now can he avoid the 6 ball as he comes around the rails? Oh, yeah.
Oh, he got a bad contact on the 3. I'm sure he got a kick. Bit of chalk dust there.
Boy, oh boy. Very unhappy with that effort.
Well, perhaps not.
He may have been thinking about that 6 ball when he stroked that, tried to cheat the pocket a little bit too much.
Yes, he needed a wider angle on the cue ball to make sure he didn't cannon into the 6 ball. But he's left a tricky one for Chung. All of a sudden, a bit of nerve required from both players. This would be a good pot.
Well, there it is, Steve. A great shot from this young man. Here's another look at it. Ball slicing right down the rail. Goes in the pocket like it had eyes.
Where would this guy be ranked in Taipei? Do you know anything about him, Joe?
You know I don't. He came in second place in a large tournament there this year, but I've never seen this man play before. I think I'll see him play again.
Well, I'd be very surprised on first view if he didn't qualify from his group. I know there's many good players in many of the groups, but you've got to get in the top 4 spaces of 8 players. This guy looks like he's got enough armory to get there.
Well, in Japan and China, this game has just taken off like a scalded dog. It's extremely popular, and they're generating an awful lot of good players. We're all familiar, of course, with Fong Pang Chao. Won this event 2 years ago. Chung brings the score 3-2 in his favor.
Interesting there. There is no guaranteed place for the 2-ball to go. The 1-ball must be at the apex of the diamond. Michaela Tab had placed the 2-ball as one of the wing balls on the opposite side from the side that Mika broke. Not deliberately, just the way they come up in the sequence of throwing the balls into the triangle. And sometimes putting the 2-ball at the back seems to be getting better results for keeping that 2-ball in play. But this time the 2-balls come up dry.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to find that 2-ball at the back of the rack, you know that it's also going to come back up table. So if the 1-ball goes, you'll have a shot on it. But the rules of the game state that those balls must be racked at random, so it can wind up anywhere.
So, ideally, a push out, but where?
He is studying this one.
Tough place to push out to, really, isn't it? Because if he doesn't give Chung some sort of opportunity, he's going to be put straight back in.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem. If Chung can hit that ball, there's a chance he can put Mika in jail with the safety. It's so thin, though. He has to worry about the scratch in the corner pocket.
I wonder if Mika's considering, if he does get put back in, playing around the back of the 4 with a certain amount of pace to perhaps kill the cue ball dead and snooker behind the pink 4. And that's what he's looking at now.
Well, he's going to have the opportunity. Chung put him back in.
And this is a clever shot from Mika. He played the push out to leave Chung a dilemma. And this is exactly what Mika's trying now. This is a very aggressive push out from Mika, and deliberately not playing the side of the blue 2 he can hit. He's got to try and play this with enough pace to stun the cue ball and stay behind that 4. Risky.
He has to watch the scratch, Steve. That can come into play here. Well, that one didn't work. Mika knows it. A lot of frustration in that face.
He may have pushed the ball up just a fraction too much to start with, I don't know, but even so, this is not a guaranteed run out.
No, but you never want to give a man a start, especially when you can see he's a very fine cueist. This ball goes in the side pocket.
As long as he doesn't hit this too hard, he should retain some sort of position on the pink 4. Well, he felt the need to hit it very firmly, and that always could leave some sort of inadvertent cannon, and he got it on the 9.
Yeah, I think he should have settled for a longer shot to have a shot into this open pocket. He tried to get perfect, and when you try to get perfect, man, all sorts of things can go wrong.
And now a very deft touch behind the black 8. He's got to make sure a ball goes to the rail, which it has, and that's a very clever shot and could well reap some form of dividend. Looks to be only one escape route for Mika Immonen, straight across the table, perhaps just before the middle pocket.
Yeah, also look for him to hit this with some pace to try and create separation between the cue ball and the 4-ball. If you can't hide a man, try and leave him as far away from the object ball as you can.
Oh, has he got a room behind that black 8?
Boy, you sure can't tell it from here. No, he's going to take an intentional foul and tie that ball up.
Well, once again, we see the mind of the world champion at work, weighing up the options, considering that even if he did successfully escape from the hook, the snooker, he would be in a worse position. So, sacrificing the table and ball in hand to his opponent, and his opponent will immediately try and extricate the 3-foul rule. 3 consecutive fouls by your opponent means you win the frame, win the rack. So, Mika Immonen is on 1 foul, and Chung will now try to get 2 more consecutively from Mika Immonen.
This is where the strategy of the game comes into play. He wants to move that white ball across the table and then all the way back over, hopefully behind the 5 and 6 to get a double snooker.
Don't know why he doesn't exactly play the same shot he played before. That's playing thin. He put the white cue ball in a place that meant that the 4 was never going to be always behind the black 8. It's come separated away from the cushion a bit, but
and this ball's easier to hit than the last one Mika faced.
Still the same problem for Mika. He's still second favourite should he even hit the pink 4, so he can't really afford to play another safety, can he?
No,
No, another deliberate foul,
yeah,
sorry.
Another deliberate foul. I would look for him to kind of nip over the edge of the 6 ball and come down to this rail and just hit the 5. But again, then he's taking a chance of leaving the out, so we'll see what he comes up with.
I suppose he could play very softly off the top cushion and try and nestle the 4 onto the 8, but he's going the 2 rail escape. This is very dangerous.
Oh boy, here he's got to dodge that 9 ball.
He's under pressure, so he's got to take some sort of risk here anyway. Actually, he can't come straight up the table past the 6 to the 9 to the top rail, so he's got to go 2 rails. Playing softly, just trying to lay on that 4, and that looks fantastic. That is an ideal shot, but he's going to be in trouble once again.
Yeah. Now here, all Chung has to do is move that 4 ball out and marry the cue ball to the 8 ball, and Mika could be in a lot of trouble.
But probably not as much trouble as he would have been before, and also he's got his fouls back to 0, so to speak. So
yeah,
he wants to get as much distance on this 4 ball as possible, but still retain the snooker. So this is very tricky. The ball's got to hit a cushion as well during this shot, and if a ball is already touching a cushion like that black 8, that wouldn't be considered to have been hitting that cushion, and he's just struck the cushion with the cue ball, but I think he's hit it too soft.
Yeah, Mika's not going to have any problem hitting this ball. I don't know if there's anything he can do with it, but at least he can hit it. If he can cut it down into that, no, he can't. The 7 ball is blocking the corner.
Well, Mika's got himself out of a position there.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Mika jack up and just draw that cue ball right back behind the 8.
That's a tough shot, Jerry. I mean, if he can see enough of it, it's a possibility. But sort of Massey shot, but obviously there's not a lot he can do with a pink 4. Would like to get it close to a rail, but he'd have to hit it too hard then. So he's trying for the snooker behind the 9.
Well, that requires perfect pace, and
Clever shot though. He's blocked both the corner pockets. Green 6 and brown 7 in the way. But advantage to Chung. Could well play a safety behind the brown 7 here, sending the pink 4 up and down the table.
yeah, the safety war cannot go on forever. At some point, someone has to aggress the table and shoot their way through this rack.
One mistake is fatal. It's not a game of speculation. In some ways, the game of snooker is more speculative than 9-ball pool. You know, if you do not get your first chance across the line, your opponent most probably will. Oh, messed that one up.
Yeah, too many collisions there for that to be intentional, but
Considered lucky there, really.
good result for that shot.
And very difficult to see now how Mika can play a safety as well. All balls have been driven very close to cushions.
Yeah, and right at this point, Mika has to avoid frustration. When the balls start rolling your opponent's way like that, it can get to your mind. He just needs to stay intensely focused on what he's doing. Mika measuring the angles of the shots, figuring in his mind where he's going.
Possibly that's his only chance, I think, Jerry, getting that cue ball down into that area and hopefully clipping the pink 4 thin enough to get behind the 5, the 8, and possibly the 9. There's not a lot he can do, really, is there?
I agree, that's the shot, but it's so tough when he's jacked up on the rail to just barely nip that ball.
He's trying something else here.
Oh, he wanted to get behind the 9.
Well, that's a good area of the table to play safe to, just before a middle pocket. I've noticed a lot of the top players incorporating that safety shot as a defensive safety with as a last alternative. It makes for a very difficult pot down the rail. Forgetting even if the 9 ball wasn't in the way of Chung's cueing, it's still a risky pot down the rail past the brown 7.
And the reason you want it close to that side pocket is because it takes away the bank into the side pocket. It's impossible from there. You'd get a double kiss off the cue ball.
And he's turned a tricky shot into advantage Mika. This is very difficult to get safe as well, trying to somehow get behind the 9 and nowhere really near it. And this is a shot that Mika will be going for, although he has a certain problem with the colliding into the green 6.
Yeah, he's almost guaranteed to hit that 6 ball, so getting position on the 5 ball is no piece of cake.
Amazing, isn't it? We've had sort of 5 racks of pure run-out pull, and then all of a sudden, all the problems coming in this one rack, and the most critical rack of the match so far.
Well, this is what I enjoy watching these boys play this mental game.
The black 8 going in the jaws of the corner pocket, but Mika's out of position.
Oh, what a situation he's in now, because if he turns this table over with a shot, he's not going to come back this rack.
He's got a straightforward bank. This is dead straight in line. I would expect him to get this.
Oh, and he does. Mika Immonen showing off his banking skills. There's another look at it, and the banks are open, even though it's Sunday.
So, obviously no problem in knocking that 8 in, but what he's got to be careful of is that he doesn't also knock the green 6 in as well. But also, if he does go too far to the right-hand side of that black 8, he'd lose the 6. So, he doesn't want to leave the 6 anywhere other than over the pocket. Or if he's going to make the 6 as well.
Well, he was trying to send that 6 ball over the other side of the table, a risky shot that did not work to his advantage. He's faced now with a thin cut. Not that I expect him to miss it. I think he'll make this ball, but it could have been a lot easier for him.
He's going to go 1.5 times up and down the table for open position on the brown 7.
Coming right at you, 6 ball corner pocket.
He's perfect. I thought he was a bit short of pace there for a while, but no. Absolutely perfect, and now drawing the ball up the table for the 9 into the short-sided pocket.
So once again, we're just going to trade games back and forth. We're going to be 3-3.
But still, Mika hasn't been able to break the stranglehold of going with break. Mika levels it at 3-3, but Chung, with 2 breaks still left in this match, still has the advantage.
Six ball corner pocket, 1 ball in the side. There goes the 6. Hey, the 1 ball didn't go in this time. Let's see how he winds up on that. Does he have a shot? Indeed.
Slight problem further down the line for Chung. As you see, moving the body weight forward on the break to try and generate more power. Throwing your cue at the shot, completely alien to the snooker fans watching. But the ability to transfer the power through your body to the cue is very important on the break-off in 9-ball pool.
Well, that problem Steve referred to is going to be popping up here real quickly. He's got great shots on the 1-ball and the 3-ball, but then the 4 and 5 are laying in kind of a tricky spot.
Has he just got enough room from where he is now, roughly, with the cue ball? Could he, from where he is now with the cue ball, knock that 4 in without clipping the 5? I think he probably could.
Yeah, I think he can if he doesn't wind up too far on this right-hand rail and make it a really tricky shot where he has to turn the cue ball loose.
As you can see, he's played for it.
Yeah, he's okay. Now he'll hit enough of that object ball that the cue ball is not going to go flying around the table. It'll be a very controlled shot. Cue ball will simply come out on the other side of the 5.
Playing with a little bit of left-hand spin to widen the angle of the cue ball after striking the cushion. When he contacted that 5, didn't want that. Now he's lost position, but fortunately for him, goes round the back of the 8-ball.
Yeah, he got a bit of a good roll there. He certainly didn't want to touch that 5, but it's all worked out for him. All he has to do now is avoid the snooker from the 8-ball.
Holding himself together well here, obviously closer to the finishing line. Any amount of panic, misjudgment, or cueing inaccuracies can result in bad positional play. You don't expect these top players to miss balls in open play, but where they can come unstuck, it's perhaps just a misjudgment of pace or a stopping of the thinking process, in which is the best method to go about playing position.
And you can always fall victim to a miscue. It's a simple piece of leather with chalk.
Where's this cue ball going? Very close to the middle. That was taking a risk as well.
That side pocket is a lady you don't wish to flirt with. It's the side pockets are actually half an inch wider than the corner pockets, so it's a pretty big opening for that cue ball to fall into. But Chung has survived that and sinks this 9-ball to go up 4-3 over Mika Immonen. Mika Immonen needs a great break shot here.
Didn't make the 1, but he's got shape on the 1. Bit of a mess there with those 3 balls. The 5, 6 and 7 have all come together for a little chat on the right-hand side of the table. Controlled break there from Mika, not giving it everything.
No, he really wanted to make sure that white ball was controlled. Couldn't risk letting it just run around. But boy, that's quite a problem to solve.
That 5 is a problem. Does it go in any pocket?
I don't think it does, and I don't see an opportunity to break that cluster out.
If the 5 did go past the green 6, Mika would be spending no time at all in clearing this rack.
I think he's plotting a safety for that 5.
There also isn't really a way of disturbing those balls before he gets to that phase of the break.
Well, not unless he wanted to put a lot of twist on this shot right here. And that's a big risk, because then he could wind up snookered behind the 7.
I've got a feeling he is as well. He's playing this with right-hand English. That's a clever shot, and he's unlucky. He really is unlucky there. That was a controlled attempt to try and disturb those balls into a more favourable position.
Well, it may be, Steve. Does that 7-ball line up perfectly with the pocket?
Oh, sorry, I'm not even thinking about that, Jerry. Yes, you're right. I've got my snooker head on. If those 2 balls, the 5 and the 7, are in line, then this is, well, not far off. Rack over. I know it seems ridiculous to say that so early in a rack, but
yeah, and even if they're a little bit off, he can throw the 7-ball with that intervening ball. He can put English on it, or just from the angle of attack, he can throw it to one side or the other by at least half a ball width.
Yes.
They're lined up.
That's lovely. And
yeah.
The way he played the 2 to the 3 means that he considers it's the right shot to play as well. His only problem is probably has to play the orange 5 towards the green 6 to knock this brown 7 in, and then he's got to try and somehow get that orange 5 into play afterwards. So where's the best place to get that orange 5 back out into the open?
Well, he's made his decision. Let's see where he places this ball.
I don't think he'll be playing this too hard. I think he's going to play a stun shot on the 5, leaving the cue ball roughly where it is, hoping to send the 5 just off possibly the 6 and then the cushion into open play.
Right. Yeah, that way he would have either a side pocket or a corner pocket open to him.
Well, he didn't expect that.
No, that's a turn of events that he did not want.
If that was the outcome, he should have hit it harder, but it's just impossible to tell with ball contacts exactly how they turn out. And well, he's got obviously control of the table. He's at the table. He's got the first chance to play a good safety, but I doubt we'll see him risk a bank shot here.
And of course, the later you are in the rack, the more difficult those safeties become because there are less balls to hide behind. Certainly no wall here open for him.
Looks like the 5 to the bottom cushion behind the 6, the white twice across behind the 9.
You called it, and that's a beautiful example of cue control. I think he's satisfied with that one.
I think he is. But of course, by not running the rack, he now has given Chung the chance to get lucky. A chance you don't want to let anybody have, because the pockets on these tables are big enough that if you send the ball in the right direction, it usually goes in. So in certain situations, especially this situation, it could be advisable just to have a whack at it.
We'll know by the pace. That's what he's doing. Taking his chances, rolling those dice. And
he may have got away with that. Can Mika just get past that 9 to cut the 5 along the rail? I don't think so.
From the look on his face, I'd say no.
And also, it's a very, very difficult safety as well.
That is, because he's going to have to bring that 5 off of the rail. Put it out into open table territory unless he can nestle it down table somewhere.
He'd love to be able to hit the left-hand side as we look of that ball, but he's forced to go for the thin clip. And if this comes out, he's lost. He's upset there.
Yeah.
That was a tough shot, though.
It was a very tough shot, but now Chung has a chance to win this match.
So, all of a sudden, from being the underdog and nobody expecting him to do well on this centre match table, he now has the chance to win the rack. 4 good shots. Can he hold himself together? He looks like he can.
Watch where he winds up on this 6 ball. That will determine how easy it's going to be to get on the 8. And he shouldn't have much of a problem here.
Well, Mika won his first match. This is Mika's second match. So, not disastrous should he lose, but he would have liked to have been 2-2 rather than 1-1. 7 matches to be played by each player in the round-robin phases. If you win 4 out of your 7 matches, you're, I would imagine, home and dry in your league. 3, you've got chances.
Well, Chung has jumped up and surprised our defending champion, Mika Immonen, with this performance. You can see it in Mika's face. He did not expect this result. Chung wins the match 5-3 over our defending champion, Mika Immonen.